WCCS AM 1160 and 101.1 FM, and good morning to you. Glad that you're with us here today. It is called The Road to the KCAC, and our conversation with the Heritage Conference folks, brought to you by Marcus and Mack, a law firm representing injured people. And there they are, the Prez, the Vice Prez, Jody Rainey and Cullen Stokes. The Heritage Conference has a big week set up. Gentlemen, good morning.
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 It's good to have you both with us here today as we talk about what's going to be happening not just Friday, but through the course of the week. Jody, set it up for us.
Well, tonight we have our semifinal game. So we have Homer Center will be traveling to West Shamokin for the boys for a 7 o'clock game, and Penns Manor will travel to Ligonier Valley for a 7 o'clock game. Those winners will go on and play Friday night at the KCAC in the boys championship game. And tomorrow night, the girls matchups. West Shamokin will travel to United, and Homer Center will travel to Penns Manor. Again, both those games at 7 o'clock, and the winners will go on to the KCAC.
Yeah, and then Friday becomes a really special night. And of course, the other team's playing crossover games this week, too.
Yeah, Colin can probably speak to that a little more than I can.
Yeah, Colin,
put me on the spot.
You don't have to tell me all of them.
Okay, I'll say matchups.
You got the 3s and the 3s, the 4s and the 4s, the 5s and the 5s from the north and the south. They're all playing together.
Yeah, correct. And they're playing between Wednesday, Thursday, and next Monday.
Yeah. So and all of those games, because you have until the 12th to get your teams ranked. You get your points piled up for the District 6 playoffs. And then the meeting is on the 13th, and so that's in the future. Meanwhile, we've got this big week ahead of us now. So the semifinals are always interesting to me because these teams have seen each other once for the most part. Sometimes they schedule out, not within the conference, but they do schedule each other. But for instance, Jody, Homer Center. The school, of course, you're the principal at Homer Center. Your club played West Shamokin at the beginning of the Heritage Conference season. I think the first game of the conference season was against West Shamokin. They lost, and now you're going to go over there and play them. And it's always interesting to me because the teams are entirely different now than they were back then.
Yeah, I think so too, and I think that's what makes basketball exciting. There's all kinds of documented, even through the Heritage Conference back to when I was coaching, where you'd have schools that would suffer even a blowout loss early in the year and come back and turn the tables on a team at the end of the year. So I think that's what makes basketball exciting. I think that you can see that development throughout a course of a few months. And and I know that West Shamokin has had a good season, and they're a very good and strong team, and I'm sure they're better than they were the first time we saw them. And I'd like to think so are we, and that's what makes it exciting, and I think that's going to be a great matchup tomorrow night, and you have two programs that have traditionally been fairly strong and competitive, and I think you can say that for all of them. Our girls going to Penns Manor on Tuesday tomorrow night. We lost pretty significantly the first time around, but I think that if we take care of the basketball and we saw the, purchase line. I understand, Penns Manor played some seniors and some kids that they got more time that they traditionally don't. But ultimately, I think that if we can go there tomorrow night and limit our turnovers and shoot as many shots as they shoot, because when you turn it over, you give up transition points. I think that we have a good opportunity tomorrow night, and I think that we're looking forward to showing that we were a much better team than we probably showed the first time we played them.
Yeah, one of the things about this is that fans travel so well throughout this conference, and there are going to be a bunch of them at the games tonight. And then on Wednesday night, and Cullen, your school United is hosting a game against West Shamokin, and those fans travel well. And United, of course, you're going to be packing that gym. Parking is not the easiest thing at United High, Cullen. What are you doing over there? Gee.
Yeah, well, we're doing some pre-sale tickets for this to hopefully squeeze everyone in the seats and the aisles and the doorways, and expecting a large crowd because I know West Shamokin travels well. It was a tight ball game when our girls played up there a few weeks ago, and we're looking forward to hosting them tomorrow night.
Yeah, it's really going to be something. And I think I said Wednesday, but I meant tomorrow night. That game is really going to. That when you've been in the United Gym and the United Gym is packed with people, there's few places like that. I mean, it is loud.
Yeah, it is a loud gym.
It is something to see, and so that is a game that everybody is going to be looking at tomorrow. But the semifinals, of course, lead to Friday night, and the Heritage Conference championships on Friday night. Jody, you and I have talked about this quite often in the past. It's not just basketball. It's a celebration of the conference, isn't it?
It is, and I think. First off, I just want to send a shout out to our sponsor, S&T Bank. That's they are our primary sponsor, and they've been with us from the very beginning. And without their support, none of this would be possible. And we have a lot of secondary sponsors that also come on board, and it'd be too long to mention them all. But without the support of the community and the local business community, especially, this wouldn't be possible. But we have a lot of things going on. 6 o'clock, obviously, is the girls' championship game, followed by the boys. But we also have a girl from Penns Manor singing the national anthem for the girls' game. We have a girl from Ligonier Valley singing for the boys' game. We have Marion Center's ROTC presenting the colors prior to the first game. Ligonier Valley's ROTC presenting the colors for the second game. We'll have, again, this will be the third year, I believe now, for the Heritage Conference art exhibit. We'll have up in the upper concourse. We even took another step this year of each school could submit 3 or 4 works. They'll be on display for people to come and enjoy and see. But we also, from each school, then selected one of those works and recognized that artist as an all-conference artist.
Oh, there you go.
And then at halftime, or not at halftime, in between games, we'll be giving our annual scholarships to a male and female from each member school. So we have that going on. What am I missing? We have it all.
Special recognitions.
Oh yeah, special recognitions this year. We did last year. We started with the Distinguished Achievement Award. So we'll be recognizing Northern Cambria's volleyball state championship team again this year. In between the games, we have Bob Rado. We're going to recognize Coach Rado for getting his 500th career victory. And I'll let Cullen, because the other 2 are students of his, so I'll let him explain what's going on with those 2.
We'll have Jacob Dixon up there. He was the national champion in the Skills USA competition through the ICTC. And we'll have Josh Hamilton, who is the recipient of the Pennsylvania State Athletic Directors Association's Mel Scholarship winner for the state. So we're going to recognize those 2 guys as well.
Wow! Tell me how Josh got that. I mean, that has to be highly competitive.
It is. It's a state award. He had to fill out an application, write an essay, how high school sports impacted his life. So he was selected as the Mel winner for the state, and he'll get to go down to the conference in March and read his essay to the room of athletic directors.
Wow,
so,
isn't that something?
Yeah.
Isn't that something? So all of that is going to be happening too. And Jody, you're right. The art exhibit is something else. People need to come early just to see that.
Well, we're opening the doors this year a little bit earlier than in the past. We're going to open the doors at 5 o'clock this year. We just had that meeting last week, I believe.
4:30.
4:30. Sorry about that. Thank you.
Doors open at 4:30.
4:30.
Okay.
4:30.
Which will give them time to do a lot of things. You won't have to stand in line, because usually those lines are pretty big, and sometimes people don't even get in for tip-off of the game. But we're hoping if people come at 4:30, they can go up and they can check out the art exhibit and get themselves something to eat at the different vending stations and things of that nature. So, like I said, I think that the Heritage Conference, our 3 core valued areas, academics, athletics, and the arts, will be on full display. At the KCAC, and I think that's sometimes people kind of get singular and focused when they start. They look at things from an athletic standpoint, and I know for my 2 sons that go to Penns Manor. I mean, they're not athletes. They're just not. But academically, they've had a chance to show their skills and highlight what they can bring. And they feel like they get to represent their school and go out and compete against other schools in academics, which means a lot to them to represent their school. And, so I think that's the opportunities that we extend way beyond athletics that sometimes often isn't recognized and noticed and thought of a lot. We're here to talk about athletics, but we're not. We don't come up and talk about our academic competition's coming up and stuff like that. So.
Yeah. but we should because that's
We
that's
can. We'll let you know.
It's good stuff. You let me know. You can come
It's
on
in March.
anytime to talk about that. Yeah, well, let's do that.
We will. We'll
Don't-
put it in the books.
Yeah, absolutely. One of the things, though, about this event is it's basketball on a championship night at the KCAC on Friday. And I would wonder if I were to ask some of those girls at United, some of the boys at Homer Center, whoever's going to be there, West Shamokin, Ligonier Valley, all the Penns Manor, all these schools that have a chance to be there, I would be interested to know if you were to poll all of those players right now and say, which is more exciting for you, KCAC on Friday night or District 6 playoffs? I'd really want to know what is, because the atmosphere at the KCAC is unlike anything.
All you got to do is go back to last year's, I think it was last year in the Indiana Gazette when Sid McCauley from Blairsville was quoted as saying, I played here, I played at the KCAC, I played for district championship games, I played in a state semifinal game, and by far the atmosphere and the experience of the KCAC is by far the best that she had as a basketball player.
Yeah, because one of the things about it, and Cullen, you know this too, is it's a little family atmosphere. Because on that night, you've got 4 schools that are represented, or maybe 2 schools. It depends upon which teams make it in. But the exciting thing about it is the entire conference shows up because they all have interest, they all have friends, they're all rivals, but it's a little Heritage Conference family affair.
It is. It's neat to see all the different varsity jackets and T-shirts and sweatshirts from, all the schools that are there to show up to support, the other members of the conference, and like you said, root for their neighbors or, just show up to see everything that's going on. So it is a neat atmosphere for kids to get to play a high school game in, for sure.
Absolutely is. One question I always wondered about is, and you guys can answer this, do other conferences come up to you and say, how'd you pull this off? We'd like to do something like that.
I've had some, ask about what we do and how we do it. And I think just with what we have that's special is, one, the KCAC. I don't think there's an arena that's like this around, in this area. So we get kind of the advantage there. And I think what's helped build the hype through the years is when we started the semifinals. Because, there's 4 boys and 4 girls teams that feel that there's an opportunity to, play on the floor Friday night. And I'm sure they're going to, give it their best effort to get there. And we're going to have some good games tonight and tomorrow. And have great games Friday night. So
they're going to lay it out.
And I think too, to add to that, Todd, a little bit is too, and again, if it wasn't for our sponsors, that's what really made it go. We had kind of a concept, but we needed someone to step forward and help. And and you look at all of our sports that we have championship games similar to this for. We have at least one business out there that's our primary sponsor that gives us a significant amount of support, and so I think that also kind of helped at least kickstart it, and it's built to what it is today. So I think anyone looking to duplicate it needs to start looking and seeing who's out there to be willing to support that and sponsor that and become a partner with them.
Road to the KCAC, it winds to the Cavalci Complex on Friday night, presented by S&T Bank. Now, we got to get to Boomer in just a second, but I can't let you out of here without talking a little business with you as well. Of course, the conference's face is changing. Next year, the formats will be different in terms of basketball. But we've got the Cambria Heights issue out there. At Cambria Heights, it looks like it wants to come join the conference. You've got the Bishop Carroll situation. You guys, as athletic directors, you got a lot to figure out, don't you, here in the next 6-8 months?
Well, I go back to this, Todd. I think that the Bishop Carroll situation is uniquely different than Cambria Heights. Bishop Carroll was looking to fill a schedule as they're an independent football program, and we had a need for a 10th game. And so they have no desire to become members of the Heritage Conference. They wanted to partner with us to help us fill our void in football, and same, we can help them fill their schedule. The Cambria Heights situation, I think, is uniquely different. They are interested. They have made application. And I would say this about Cambria Heights is what I said earlier. I think that when you're considering Cambria Heights, you have to look at it through the lens of a more broad lens than just athletics. You need to look at it from the academics, the activities, arts, and athletics, because what happens is, there's some other things going on within our conference that are well documented. That we will have 9 teams without Cambria Heights, and if some things happen, we could even have less. And then you have to start looking at the longevity of the conference and looking at those things. So I think that in that realm, I think that Cambria Heights could be potentially a good fit, but we just have to present the information to the membership and let them make that decision.
Very good. Gentlemen, thank you so much for coming in to visit with us today. Appreciate it.
Thanks.
Looking forward to a big week. It is the voice of Indiana County, WCCS, AM 1160, 101.1 FM.